and welcome to Everyday Leaders Showcase. This year in 2022, we are celebrating Indianapolis leaders. Today, we are at Metro Plastics, and we have with us owner Ken Hahn. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
This is awesome, and we have Go-Kart racer Carson Sauter, right?
Yep.
And his mom, Sarah Reuter, and I am so excited because Sarah and I have been connected for a long time, and she told me this story about Carson, and I started following him, and then I learned the rest of the story. And Ken, you are amazing because you have a vision for leadership, and Everyday Leaders celebrates people that have a vision in the city to lift and celebrate others. What you've done with your vision is what I wanted to talk about today. But if you could, tell us a little bit about Metro Plastics, what you do in the community here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I'd love to. This business, Metro Plastics, was started by my father in 1975. He was a tool maker, grew up in Indianapolis, worked for Western Electric and Chrysler. He wasn't real thrilled working there, so he bought a molding machine and started making name badges for the restaurant industry. And then in the late 70s, he got involved with mood rings, and that really gave the business a boost. And we moved up here into the Noblesville area in the early 80s. We've grown the business since then. We have a real diverse customer base. We built this building in 2018. We've been here almost 4 years now. It seems like just yesterday. So we have 135 employees, which is a difficult thing, as Hamilton County has the lowest unemployment in the country, which is quite amazing. And we serve all kinds of different industries, from medical to automotive to agricultural, and we continue to grow and thrive here in Hamilton County. We do some community outreach. We're heavily involved with Janus Developmental Services, which is a handicap organization just here in Noblesville that provides work opportunities and activities for adult handicap folks, and we're real proud to be involved in that. So we do get involved in a lot of local schools. Their STEM programs. We donated a robot to the Noblesville High School not too long ago, and we enjoy that kind of activity. Making plastic parts every day is not the most exciting thing, so we enjoy that.
Well, I think, having a vision to say, how do I give back to the community? So where does this come from in your heart? How did you decide that it's bigger than just your company?
People used to ask me, how many people, do you have working for you? And I'd say, 100 or 99 too many. And, that's really not true. When you look back and think about all the things that we've been through as a team here, people's graduations, buying their first homes, family members passing away, growing the business as a team, it's really about the people. And you start to think that, it's not just us here in this building, but it's our entire community. It has got to prosper for us to prosper as well.
Mm-hmm. So this is why, we love Indianapolis, is because of people like you and businesses like you that can give back. And when I think about, the story with Carson here and how you found him and what you're doing to support racing, people don't really maybe know that. So how did that start? How did your vision for just saying, well, let's bring this together for teamwork and community building?
Oddly enough, we have many different departments here at Metro Plastics, and one of the departments is the tool and die department. And tool and die makers are notoriously difficult to get along together. They're very talented individuals, and I've always had that trouble with that department working well together. So I would sit at our departmental meetings and I'd say, guys, you've got all the talent, you've got all the tools, let's race something. I don't care if it's boats, motorcycles, cars, what do you guys want to do? And they'd all just sit and stare at me. They would never make a decision. So I had a buddy that was racing a shifter car out at Newcastle, and he was getting a little older, and he asked me one day, do you want to buy this thing from me? I didn't even really know what it was at that point. So I brought it up here, wheeled it into the tool room, and everybody said, oh, wow, now we can do something with this. And then a gentleman in my quality department came up to me and said, AJ Nowd, he said, you don't know what my background is, do you? I said, no, not really. He said, I used to be a national champion racing that kind of go-kart. And I said, really? I thought that was kind of interesting. I said, what are you doing here? He said, well, you know, his wife at the time told him to get a 40-hour week job. So lucky for him, he's got a 40-hour week job and can still be involved in karting. And so after that, we started with that one kart. We barely got it ready for the last race 2 years ago. We ended up winning that race. AJ did that for us, and that kind of propelled us into 2021. And now at this point, we're up to 7 or 8 karts. It just keeps growing.
So how did you find Carson? Tell me the story, because I love this Cinderella story for a kid that says, I'm just kind of curious about this, and now you get connected and things happen.
Well, oddly enough, I had a customer. I was showing him around the plant and showed him the cart. And a week later, he called me up and said, you got to meet this kid. I guess he ran into him at a local indoor karting track. And I didn't know these folks from anybody, and I don't think my customer really knew him very well either, but saw some talent in this kid at the indoor track. And so the customer put me and Sarah together, and Scott, Carson's dad, and we brought Carson up for a tour, and the rest is history, really.
Wow. Carson, tell me about that first time when you recognized that this was an opportunity.
Oh, I was like super excited, and when I was introduced to Metro, I was just astonished on how it all works. And I had no clue that this opportunity was given to me, and I'm very thankful for it.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any idea that this could be something bigger when you started just having fun at the go-kart track?
No, well, my goal was to get to F1 and IndyCar, get to the top level.
So Carson, how did all this start?
At K1, I was racing karts at K1, and after I got out of the kart, this guy came up to me, and his name was Jay, and he was like, I saw a lot of passion in racing, and he was like, you gotta meet this guy named Ken. And he got me and Ken connected to Metro, and I got a tour of Metro, and I loved it.
So I love this because how old were you when this started?
13.
13. So who influenced you to start just going to the track? Was it just something that you did with friends?
No, I just started, like, my whole life, even as a toddler, I've loved racing, like watch IndyCar races. I play with IndyCar toys on the ground, and I just really got into it in November of 2020 at K1, and that's where it really all started.
Mm-hmm. So people were going through COVID saying, gosh, we're isolated, we don't have focus, we're really just trying to figure out life, and here you're developing your whole future. Yep. And so you're getting connected. Sarah, talk to me about what you experienced with Carson the first time that you realized that this was bigger than just going to the track.
Yeah, so one of Carson's greatest gifts is his persistence. Mm-hmm. And sometimes as a mom, sometimes you don't think, oh, that's really a gift right now, right? We got to hit the pause button. But he really, like he was explaining, loved racing in general. And so K1 indoors during the winter months was his kind of start to all of this. And so he would constantly ask me to take him up there. And it was really cool because, you know, the right place, right time, just kind of how that synergy works of him following his heart and just doing what he loves and showing up without any expectation. Mm-hmm. And just getting connected to, you know, Jay, and Jay connecting us to Ken. It was just really beautiful to watch everything unfold so organically and effortlessly, and it's been amazing to be, you know, one of Ken's greatest gifts, I think, too, is just learning the story about Metro and the family businesses. I automatically felt like family when we started to go out to Newcastle and to the garage, and we've kind of just become like a little family here. So it's really been amazing to be a part of that and watch Carson thrive.
We hear about so many racers in Indiana because here we are at home of the Indianapolis 500. And so I think this organic growth, and we think about Newcastle, it'll be fun to go out and watch you race in Newcastle and support this. And I think a lot of people that don't know about this, it's kind of the undermining of this passion. So I want to encourage people to follow you and follow the story. I want to ask you, Carson, for the things that you think about, who are you following as far as drivers that you really respect?
I really like, for F1, I like Daniel Ricciardo a lot, and he races on McLaren, and he's really funny all the time, and he's a good driver. And I also like Will Power, the IndyCar driver, because in 2018 when I went to my first Indy 500, he won the Indy 500, and also the car that I'm racing in is his car too.
Wow. Wow, what a connection.
Yeah.
I know the car behind you. Tell us a little bit about the car right behind us here.
Okay, so that cart, so originally when I first went out to Newcastle and tested in the cart, it had a L206 engine, a Briggs and Stratton, and I loved it when I went out there, and I did my first race in that engine and cart in the end of July, and then they put a KA100 engine on it, and I did a race in that cart, and then my dad bought a Will Power cart at the end of September, and yeah.
That's the rest of the story, right? So, Mom, talk to me about getting in these go-karts. Have you been in one?
Oh, well, I haven't been in one of these. I've sat in one in the garage, but I've never fired it up. To see him go from this kind of indoor electric rental cart, to this more advanced and competitive, much faster speed, it's a drastic difference. And so, I remember taking him out his first time to get into one of these carts out at Newcastle, and him kind of just go out there. My heart was just, racing to see them going that fast. But these guys are great. They know what they're doing, and Carson just loves it. So, yeah, but it can be a little nerve-wracking.
So, Ken, tell us about your vision now for what's happening next with your team, where we can follow you, how we can find you.
We'll certainly get into that, but he's being a little modest. He won the last race of the year out in Newcastle in that cart. So
Wow.
there's a little more to that story about that cart back here.
He's so humble. I think he just enjoys doing this. I think that's the heart of a real racer, is when it's okay, I'm going to do more. I just love what I do. I can get in the car and it just turns on. You can tell your eyes. You just get so excited about having this opportunity.
Yeah.
So we also invited everybody that works here or related to this business to participate, if they'd like to, on the team. And since the beginning, we've had several guys in production really jump in and help out. Some of them that really put a lot of effort into it. We're providing a ride for them this year. We had an intern here last summer, Cole DeJohn from the University of Miami of Ohio. He's graduating from the engineering school here this spring. He was a big help last summer doing all the data analysis and telemetry, and also changing tires for us. He was such an instrumental part of the team that we've made him an offer to be a full-time employee here this spring when he graduates.
Wow.
So we're excited to get him back. Of course, AJ, being a former national champion at shifter kart racing, he's a wealth of knowledge that gives us some hope that we can at least get the teaching and the skills of driving, so we're not out there guessing about what we're doing. So AJ's been a real blessing. Gene Eschenfelder in our tool room does a lot of the mechanical work, fabricating parts. His talents are indispensable. We have other folks that help out on the team, Russ and Ashley. do all the graphic designing. They're there every weekend, taking videos and pictures, putting things on Facebook, and there's a bunch of other people that help out. And like I said, we've gone from one cart now probably to 7 or 8. So we'll try to have there's many classes out at Newcastle. There's one series that we race in, and we'll probably try to get 3 or 4 carts in different classes every weekend out there that they have races.
Wow. That's exciting. As the growth happens, I am mentored by John Maxwell, and his word today was opportunity. And I was telling Sarah about this earlier, but he was just framing it up that, opportunity is when every day we're preparing. Every day we're preparing. And I just thought how important that was, because when Carson was just preparing and doing what he loved, following your heart, then opportunity comes. And your life can unfold in ways that you have no idea what's next. And so I love this kind of Cinderella story of, having people think about the courage that it takes to just do something. And like you said, not showing up with expectations, but what can I do and how can I give and how can I just do it with my whole heart? Mm-hmm. So,
Carson comes out to the shop every Saturday and works with us old men on the carts, and it's there's definitely a generational difference. And he gets right to work, and he's not afraid to ask silly questions. They're not silly questions. He just doesn't understand. So if there's something on the cart he doesn't understand, he speaks right up and asks that. So that takes a bit of courage itself.
Mm-hmm. Carson, what would you say the biggest thing that you think you've learned over the past couple of years?
Definitely taking apart the cart and putting it back together. So during the winter, AJ taught me how to we took apart the cart completely and put it all back together, and I learned so much over the winter. It's unbelievable. I'm very happy and thankful that I did.
So now when you think something is going on, it's all about communication. We hear here being in Indy and the 500, we're so programmed to go, okay, they have to communicate to know what happens when you come in for a pit stop, to what are they going to do to the car to make changes to make it even better. So talk to me about the communication that you have, the level of communication that you're learning.
Yeah, so say I'm out on the track and something feels loose when I go into a turn, I can come in and be like, the cart doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel like I have enough grip, and AJ Gene can help me and maybe change some things up with a front end grip and maybe change a gear, and yeah.
It's so important, right?
Yeah.
Because you know what you feel. That's the thing, when you understand that. So Mom, tell me, how do you feel that when he's in a junior class right now, and we talked about this a little bit, Carson, when you get to the senior level, it means, tell us about what that is, the differentiation between the junior and the senior.
So the junior class is ages 12 through 15, or 12 through 14, and when you get into senior, it's 15 and up, and the difference is, so the junior has a restrictor right in where the exhaust is, and the senior doesn't have a restrictor, so the senior will go faster in the straights and have more speed coming out of turns.
Mm-hmm. So you're a little bit safer right now.
Yeah. You could say so.
Sometimes they race the junior and the senior together, and you can't tell he's being restricted.
Yeah.
So Mom, tell me what you see in Carson, because I know that you've probably seen significant changes in him, having people that are around you that give you the confidence in that inner circle. Talk to me about that a little bit.
I've just seen massive growth from him the past 2 years because of this. As a parent, you just want your kids to be happy. And he's found something that lights him up from the inside out. And that's the best wish I can ask for is his happiness and having mentors to help lead the way. These great leaders and men that he's around, and women that are, just out there teaching him about all these different aspects, and it's really beyond racing. There's STEM involved. He's learning about engineering and mathematics and science and all these things that can take him far in life as far as a career goes. And For him, though, I know he'll always say, one of his favorite things is about the speed. He loves going fast. And so, yeah, he's a smart young man, though. He's always been kind of one of those kids that, you've got your daredevilish kind of persona, but yet he's really, I wouldn't even describe him as a daredevil. He's kind of more of an observer, and he'll step back and assess the situation and observe before he dives in head first. And so I think that's what really makes him really good at what he's doing.
And it's great to have people before you to watch so that you can ask questions too. And that's a great lesson. Gosh, I love this story. This is so wonderful to have all three of you here talking about injection molding, but injecting leadership, injecting vision into our communities. I just thank you so much for your time today and all that you're doing and celebrating you. I want to encourage everybody, go to Newcastle. Let's follow this team. This is amazing.
Yeah, our goal for him is to win a championship this year. And then, a lot of the kart companies, want their karts to win so their business can grow. And that's when they'll pick a kid like this up and he'll move on to the next step.
Wow. What do you think about that, Carson? A lot of pressure?
Yeah, you could say so. A lot of pressure, but all you got to do is just love the sport and thrive.
That's awesome. Mom, any last words?
Just thank you. Thank you to Ken and everybody at Metro. Even sitting here today learning, there are so many people behind the scenes that are a part of the team that are helping out that you don't even realize, even with graphic design and all these things. So it really is incredible, everybody's effort. Yeah. And thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Ken, for inviting us in.
Yes, thank you.
All that you do, we're really excited to share this story out into our community.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So that's our showcase for Everyday Leaders, and we're excited to roll this out for 2022. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for many more.